All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast, episode 122, number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. Christian Brindle, Glenn Shelton. We are live, but an hour early than normal. So here we are. Good morning, good sir.
You sound like Pee Wee Herman there. An hour earlier than normal. Super excited about today's episode, you guys. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Something that I could probably talk about for 3 hours if I'm being super honest. So I don't want to spend too much time on anything else. Quickly wanted to give a shout out to Lillian here in the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. Guys, she laid out a template yesterday for how you can take the turning 65 leads that we are generating at Lead Heroes and close 50% of them. I would typically never tell someone that you would be able to close 50%, but if you were to follow the advice that she shared for free in the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group, because she's just that nice of a person, I can almost guarantee you'll have very similar results that she had. I'm going to get on my soapbox here really fast. So, being in the industry as long as I have, especially on the marketing side, there is an incredible number of agents out there who get leads, they don't contact them. And with the turning 65 leads specifically, I think there's some agents out there who might see a birthday that's 5 or 6 months away and think, well, why would I call this person now? I'll call them in a month when it's closer to their birthday. Lillian is smart enough that she goes out and she will run that appointment even if it's 5 or 6 months out, because she knows if she's the first agent in the door, most likely she will be the one that gets the application. So wanted to give Lillian a quick shout out here on the pod today. And if you are looking for advice on how to take turning 60, whether it's from Lead Heroes or some other source, look for her post yesterday. I thought it was fantastic advice. Fantastic advice.
And of course, right, this is a subject that we've beaten to death on this show, on other platforms, other types of content in the past. It's not anything we haven't told you guys to do. It's just when somebody actually does it and starts seeing result other than us,
Right.
it's nice. It's nice for you guys to get to see, oh, wait, working the leads does work. Calling them does work. No, I mean, Lillian's done a fantastic job, and
yes,
yeah, shout out to her on those. Today we're talking about an old friend of a topic, one that really, I mean, on this show we haven't talked about it much, but in general, in terms of the content that we've put out, we've talked about it a great deal.
Yes,
and that is Walmart. Before we get into that, though, I'd be wrong, in my opinion, not to mention the 40 piece by J-Dub last night to put the Thunder up by 3 games to 2.
The J-Dub game.
The J-Dub
as it's
game.
being coined. Yes.
Yeah, the J-Dub game.
Yes.
He was lights out. SGA wasn't bad either.
Yeah, I actually caught a decent amount of this game. I was running some errands last night, so I actually listened to some of it in the car, and then I got home and watched some of it. He had this layup. I don't know if you saw it, but he had this layup in the fourth quarter where, just the touch he has on the ball is so crazy to me. He had this layup where he knew he had to go high. I don't know who he was shooting over. I don't know if it was Miles Turner, but he knew he had to go really high with the ball. He literally touched it off like the top of the backboard, and it was
it back in.
Just unbelievable.
And that last, turnaround fade back shot, that was just like the cherry on the top for just a really, really strong showing. That's hard to do, to drop 40 in such an efficient way in the finals. That's
exactly what I said to my son last night. I was like, imagine dropping 40 points in an NBA Finals game. You're an elite company, right? There's so many players who have done that. You know, we're still on pace for Game 7. You guys. No pun intended with pace. I know that some of you might be listening. You may have watched and thought, "Oh, it's over." Thunder in 6. Which, by the way, I also wanted to say I have text evidence that I told Christian before Game 1. I said
Yep.
Thunder in 6. Happy to be wrong about that. Happy to be wrong about that. I would love for Pacers in 7. Still believe in the Pacers. Halliburton's going to show up huge Thursday. Halliburton's going to drop probably 29 points Thursday. I'm going to say it right now. And they're going to just cruise to
Man,
get. There's so much disbelief on Christian's face right now.
no.
To
I think
the,
they're done. I think they're done. I think one more game and they're done.
they had it last night. It was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. They could have won last night. It was that close.
Yeah. I think OKC's got some defenders, man. Lou Dort is a monster. Like, he's
Yeah.
a monster. You can't get around him. He's really big for a perimeter player. Like, he's just not supposed to be able to move like that at his size.
Yeah.
Caruso's
Yeah.
everywhere. You know, they
That
just got some really, really. SGA's a really good defensive player. J Dub's a really good defensive player.
tell me this. Tell me this. Okay. So in the rules of basketball, because there was this play with Caruso last night where he dove for the ball backcourt, right? Did you see that?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to
He
remember.
tips the ball, goes into the backcourt. He does a full extension dive. I would say 90% outside the NBA. Outside the NBA, 90% of basketball, if you get the ball and you're on the ground, any type of movement, they call it travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, when my son's playing basketball, the refs are super strict about that. High school, college, you really can't move. Why in the NBA are you allowed to get that ball laying on and you can do a full you can do the worm on the ground and the refs whistles are just they don't blow. Drives me crazy to see sometimes. It's like the extra step they give them,
Mm-hmm.
to the basket. Does
Yeah, well,
that affect the game of basketball in your opinion? Those types of little gray areas they give these players?
yeah, they just don't really call travels, and they never have. Like once in a blue moon, and when they do, it's like you didn't call this like the 16 times it happened before this play, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So there isn't any consistency with that. It's all over the place. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it has too much of an impact in in that context, right? If it's like blatant, like I'm holding the ball like a running back and I'm running down the court, then I kind of want to see that get called. But
Have you seen that LeBron highlight where he
yeah, yeah,
literally he's
I
half
don't like
court.
that.
He takes like 6 steps
Yeah.
half court and doesn't let. And I'm just like, what? They didn't call anything. Like, this is crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm a purist, you guys. Maybe I'm just a basketball purist at heart. Okay. Okay.
But no, it would be very entertaining if they got to a game 7. I'm hoping that they do.
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
not hopeful.
Believe.
OKC's looked really good these last game in particular. They looked really good. They're a really good team. They have so many good players. I just don't.
Home court's insane during the playoffs though. Like, they were talking about it on the radio when I was listening to the game last night. They were like, OKC's riding the home court noise, which it was so loud last night. And that I kept trying to imagine trying to play against that noise. Like, that it has to be distracting, right?
Yeah, I think you'd think so, but like and you know, I don't know. I go back and forth on this because there are some crowds that have some unbelievable fans, and it doesn't seem to make a difference.
True.
Like the Golden State crowd is pretty up there, all the time. You
It's a
know,
big stadium.
yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, like gets rocking. It's probably not the same feel as Indiana or OKC. You know, these little towns, small markets. It's all they got. um,
Oh, man.
I think it's a thing. I think there's something there. I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't put any huge stock on it necessarily.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Shall we get on with the
Yes.
main topic today?
Yes. Let's talk about this episode's sponsor first. Um, guys, episode 122 is brought to you by Seven Figure CRM. If you guys
Woo!
are needing a all-in-one solution, for lack of a better word, to all of your problems, you're using 4, 5, 6 different platforms all at the same time for all different things. It's confusing, it's complex, it's inefficient. You have a platform for your CRM. You have a platform for automation. You have a platform for your dialer. You have a platform for your website hosting or your funnel building. Seven Figure CRM white labels Go High Level, which is the most powerful software out there to combine everything into one. It's got high functioning automation capabilities. There's nothing quite like it, guys. You can get 2 weeks free trial for Seven Figure CRM. Not only is it white labeled Go High Level, but it is also customized by us. So you can use the automations and tools that we're using internally. That is insurance industry specific. And you just don't get that with all types of systems out there. So check it out, sevenfigurecrm.com.
Boom. I was going to mention this too on today's episode. I think we could start a YouTube channel that's just clips from our private Zoom meetings because we have so much crazy stuff that happens in our 20 hours of private Zoom meetings we have every I almost barfed during our CRM meeting yesterday. Took too many supplements on a relatively empty stomach. And then I was trying
You can't do that.
Oh man. I feel bad for our team on that. I honestly need to submit an apology. Everyone's like, "What's wrong with Glenn?" I'm just like,
Excuse me for a second.
what did you what did you think was happening when that was going on?
I thought
yesterday?
well, you didn't really say what was happening. I didn't hear anything
I
either. We
was
didn't hear
I was
anything either.
scared to talk. I was so nauseous. I was like, I didn't know
I
what to do.
thought like one of your kids came in the room or something like that. That's what I thought happened. I didn't put two and two together until you came back and disclosed such things.
Oh my gosh, I should put the audio of that out there just so that people hear the chaos. But all right, that being said, the main top where do we start with it? Because I keep thinking about how much this topic has changed in some ways, right? The reason this is being discussed today, of all days, this just came up in the group yesterday. The question was, very similar to what our title of today's episode is. Is it a waste of time during AAP to be working a Walmart table or booth, or are you better off running leads, running appointments, right? That was essentially the post that sparked this thing today.
Is it a waste of time? Yes. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Right. Hey, 123 tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. So when you first texted me about this idea, the first thought I had is I was like, haven't we beat this to death? That's the first thing I thought about because we've done multiple Taco Tuesdays about it. We've done standalone YouTube videos about it. We even did a couple emergency podcasts. Shout out emergency podcast
Boom.
about it. Those legendary emergency podcasts
Yes.
that we were doing last couple of years. And all of the hysteria surrounding it. It has changed a lot. We've never talked about it on this platform. And I know there's people that have not listened to any of the other content. They've only listened to this platform. So it is only fitting that we discuss it, I feel like, at length. It is truly a scenario of where do you start when it comes to eating your elephant. Walmart is a big old elephant, you know.
It is.
Um, the best thing to do when you're at Walmart is to buy bricks. And no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Not touching that one.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so first off, maybe we start with the basics, right? So for those of you that aren't aware, there's a long history with Walmart.
How does it work? Yeah, give them kind of the backstory here. How does Walmart and Medicare even where does that even cross paths?
So it's been a thing for some time now that agents can reserve Walmart tables, typically through their FMOs, during certain times of the year, mostly during AEP, but it can be done during outside of AEP timeframes as well. And it's changed substantially over the years to where it used to be the agent would pay, and it's evolved a lot, probably even before I even remember. So the farthest back I remember on the Walmart booth tables is that it was about a $500 deposit that was refunded to the agent after AEP had arrived, right? So in essence, it was free to the agent. Then it changed to where it was $500 non-refundable. So basically that's your cost to be there. Then it changed to where those costs started to creep up. I want to say now it costs, I can't even remember the exact dollar amount. I'm thinking the number in my head right now is like $2,000. I think it's something like that.
I was gonna say 1,500, so it's somewhere right there.
Yeah.
Right there. 1,500, 2,000.
And over the years, the program has changed each year to become less and less advantageous to the agent, in my opinion. The cost has gone up, but also there's been additional terms that have been put into place to really make it just less lucrative to the agent. Not only is the cost gone up, not only is it non-refundable, but at least last year, I haven't heard anything to make me think it's going to be any different this year. They implemented a profit share program to where you had a special Sunfire link you're supposed to use for any enrollments that came through it. The commissions would be paid to your FMO, and the FMO would take a part of that out, $50-$60 an app, and pay it to Walmart. Which there's a whole other backstory to this, because Walmart started Walmart Insurance Services. Their goal was to replace all the agents with their own captive employed agents. And that kind of just seemed to crash and burn. So now, instead of doing that, they're profiting from this profit share thing in the form of Walmart Insurance Services. So that's where we stand right now. That's like the history in terms of the lucrativeness of it, or lack thereof, and just how attractive it is. But on top of all that, which is something we're going to get into here, is it even a good lead source to start with, even if it was free?
Yep. Which it used to be, essentially, right? It used to be free. $500 refundable deposit. As long as you worked your table, you got your money back. It was essentially free.
Yeah.
Right.
And this isn't just a Walmart conversation. Walmart's just the most popular one that agents like to grasp onto. There's plenty of others, like Walgreens booths, CVS,
grocery stores,
all types of different grocery stores, Kroger's, things like that. And so, it's going to be one of those things where no matter what we say, there's always someone that comes out of the woodworks that says, I sat in a booth in 2009 and I did great. And it's like, okay, there's rules in life.
Okay.
There's always exceptions to said rules, Like, if I was born with a tail You wouldn't say that humans are born with tails by nature.
Okay, Gohan. Okay, Gohan. Got a little monkey tail back there.
Yeah. Not saying I was or anything. Don't go reaching at the summit, you guys.
Lord. You know what's interesting about when Christian just did like a speed run of essentially the last decade of this whole Walmart situation. What's interesting about the story there is that failure that Walmart had trying to start their own agency, essentially, right?
Right.
That failed so fast. I want to say it was like less than 2 years. Because I remember that becoming a thing where all of a sudden everybody was freaking out. They're like, hey, Walmart's going to replace us. Walmart kicked me out. Walmart kicked me out because they're going to have their own agent in there this year. Blah, blah. They're putting in like their own insurance agency, like physical office. It's not just like a table or a booth. It's like a physical office inside.
Right.
What do you, out of curiosity, this is kind of my own curiosity. What do you think happened that made that fail so hard and fast? It's just because it's not their lane. They try to get into something completely outside their lane. I'd love to know more about the inside workings of how that failed so hard and fast.
The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about that is Sears. Right? Like, I've heard so many stories. This happened, I think, before my time in the industry, but I've heard so many stories from agents, old timers, right, as they call them, that have been in the business a long time.
When do we become old timers? How many?
We might already be there.
Are we? I've got a lot of white hair coming in. Okay.
Yeah, I got some in my beard.
It's coming.
But to some watching, we've both been in the business north of 10 years. We might very well be old timers to some.
Yes.
But to what I would call old timers, people that have been in 25, 30, 35, 40 years, I always would hear the story of Sears. Basically, long story short, Sears tried to get into the insurance game. They'd have like this Sears insurance agency, I want to say, and it just crashed and failed because it wasn't what they did. Was kind of the consensus that everybody came to. And I think that's kind of the same thing, right? Like, could anything be farther away from the main thing, as they say, for what Walmart does? I've talked about a concept before that I'm a big believer in anytime you're trying to build multiple verticals, called the tree of life. You've heard me talk about it, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
The tree of life, the basic principle is you have a main thing. So for Walmart, their main thing is their grocery stores, right? Their grocery stores, they sell food, right? You could even say that's their main thing. Selling clothes, selling electronics, all that other stuff. Inside of the store is like a branch to the main thing. It relates,
Right.
it ties together. It's not building a totally different tree. By starting an insurance business, it's building a totally different tree, right? To like if you build a business that has multiple streams of income, but they tie together to the main thing, the roots, the foundation of the tree, the roots and the foundation support the branches, they help them live. Whereas the other tree has to grow from scratch. There's nothing to support it.
It's kind of like a name recognition thing where, like, if you think Walmart, you're thinking department store, you're thinking groceries, you're thinking odds and it like you're not the sort of time it would take for them to brand insurance to the point where people are thinking Walmart insurance. Like it really is a different, just completely different tree.
Yeah.
But that being said, you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, you'd think they would have the resources to execute on this, right? Like, you think they would pull someone in who could really, like, I'm honestly fascinated by the failure of this. It reminds me, do you remember when Amazon tried to get into the smartphone game?
Mm-hmm.
They burned over a billy, like overnight. They just like threw $1 billion away. They manufactured all these smartphones because they had success with the Kindle. And so Bezos was like, Kindle phone. I'm the next Steve Jobs. Nobody wanted it. Not a soul on planet Earth wanted that phone.
The tree of life principle is undefeated, with very few exceptions. Really, like I was writing an entire book about this principle, this concept, and I gave a multitude of examples.
Yes,
You know,
I love it. I love it. It's strong.
One of the few people in that I can think of that is the exception, not the rule, is Elon Musk. Right? Like Elon Musk built completely different verticals that really had nothing to do with each other, you know, but in a way, he even did it after PayPal. So he was already established, already had a lot of funding, right? Like, but he's also not your average person. He's not your average duck.
No. We're not even sure if he is human. He might be alien and or cyborg. We're not sure. So he's the exception.
But like, you even look at Bezos, right? Bezos is doing the space stuff right now. He walked away from being the CEO of Amazon in order to do that. He wasn't trying to do both at once, right?
True.
Like, even the most successful, richest people have a very hard time building multiple trees. You're better off building a tree where everything ties together, everything relates, everything's supported by each other. It's an ecosystem, like what we built, right? Like it's the same thing as if we started a real estate construction company. In a way,
Food
right?
cart.
Isn't it?
We're doing food, 7-figure food carts now.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense. And such is true with Walmart. So even if it's a massive multi-billion-dollar company, you know, it's an uphill battle because it's not tied at all to what they do.
I also wonder too if they were trying to get it off the ground and they just realized, because we're talking about how the structure works now, right? The structure now is you're paying Walmart, plus they're taking a little bit off the top.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe as they were trying to scale it, maybe it was more about like, why are we doing this when we can just take that money up front without any of the headache, right? There's no direct payroll or commissions or compliance or licensing or recruit. They don't have to do any of it, right? All they have to do is take the money.
Yep.
So maybe that's more what this ended up being, is just the executives were like, "Why? We're not going to scale out insurance. We're just going to charge the agents a ton of money."
Yeah.
And we're going to take all their commissions. I just think it's crazy. I honestly think it's crazy that there's people out there in 2025 who are gearing up for Walmart. I'm honest. I'm going to be really, I know I might get attacked for this in the comments. I have historically. Christian, again, gave you a timeline on this. I was talking poorly about Walmart when it was free. I was like, you probably shouldn't do this. Now they want your arm, leg, and firstborn.
On top of
and people wanted to bake this. Like, this is crazy.
All right, let's steer into the storm of that, right? Like, I'm going right in, matey, into the storm. Let's steer directly into the storm, shall we? And talk about, okay, there's going to be people that are watching this. They're like, okay. I don't know what's going on in this show anymore. Okay, there's going to be people that are watching this, right? Or listening, that are going to be thinking to themselves right now, okay, clearly these two don't like the Walmart stores. Why?
Yeah.
Aside from
we're biased.
The profit sharing, the costs, everything like that. Why don't we like the Walmart stores? Let me start with one or two things, and then I want you to rap about it.
All right, little rap battle.
Yeah, I'm Eminem. You're what's his name? You're Papa Doc. Okay.
Papa Doc.
Okay. So we didn't even address yet the time commitment of it.
Yes.
Right. So here's the thing with Walmart. Not only does it have all these costs, let's put that aside, right? We've discussed that ad nauseum at this point. But it is considered an event in the eyes of Medicare. All booths are, by the way. So when you have an event, you have to, ahead of time, register that event for a certain amount of hours, days specifically, times that you're going to be there specifically. And then once you've registered for those, you are locked into being there. So it's been a thing that I see every AEP, and I know Glenn does as well, to where agents register for a booth. Maybe it's not even Walmart, any booth, right? Take your pick. They register for, say, 20 to 25, maybe even 30 hours a week.
Yep.
Throughout the vast majority of AEP. The store or the location is dead. There's very little traffic. They're in the back by the condoms like I was my first AEP. Nobody ever walked by except for really horny dudes. And once you're registered for the time, you have to show up each day and be there. You have to fulfill the schedule. Why? Because it's a registered event in the eyes of CMS. You can't just be like with any other lead source, oh, this isn't working, I'm not going to do this. Oh, this meat tastes bad, I'm going to spit it out. Nope, you have to chew it and swallow it in whole. You have to keep going all the way with your bad meat. And so that's a huge part of it. Now, people say, well, nobody's there, I just won't show up. Wrong. They will send secret shoppers.
Wrong.
They will send secret shoppers.
This is what happens when we go an hour early. We go an hour early and everything's on the table now.
Yeah. They will send secret shoppers to check on you and make sure they're there.
It's all true.
My first AEP, I was sharing my booth with another agent. We would alternate days. It became very apparent to both of us after about a month that there was nobody coming. I think I wrote 3 apps, 4 apps, something like that, the whole AEP from the booth. And it was like a death sentence, like you're bored, you're like falling asleep. There's nobody there. You're in the back by the condoms. The carrier rep manager showing up and roasting you because of where you are in the store.
Oh my God, was that really happening?
Yes.
Carrier reps for roasting you?
Yes. Because we were in the back by the condoms. We thought that was so funny. And I'm like, well, you could help us get, to the front of the store. He's like, no.
So you're not allowed to. You have to keep that table boot. Like you have to stay where it is. Like there's no.
You can ask the store or something if you can move it, but like if they say no, you're stuck where you are. Anyway.
Yeah.
From time to time, we would wander off. Like there was a Spirit Halloween next door. I was like, Halloween's coming up. I'm gonna go look at some costumes. So my buddy was worse about it than me, the other agent. And secret shopper showed up when he wasn't there, and he had gotten in trouble. He had taken a corrections course. So like, yeah, secret shoppers come and check on you. Point being, picture this. You're in a store. There's nobody there. You're in the back by the condoms. And
you say condoms again, we're going to get demonetized on all platforms and most likely lose
lose our sponsorship.
Yeah.
And nobody's coming. You have a set schedule you have to stick to all the way to the end. And If you don't, people come and check on you. That is the reality of 99% of booths right there, no matter the store, no matter the location. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule, right? Like me growing a tail would be an exception. Humans having tails. I don't have a tail. That there are some people that have sat in booths that they have just, the perfect location, perfect area, perfect market,
Right.
and it works really well for them. It's a very, very small percentage, though. It's like 0.5% of the people that sit in these booths statistically. Most people write less than 5 to 10 apps in a booth, all of AEP, and they spend their whole AEP there. That's why we say it's not a good way to spend your time or your money. And you, frankly, like I said, because it's an event, you can't get out of it. I can't stress that enough. You can't get out of it. It's very difficult to do so.
I will go on record and say, there are Walmart locations out there, I'm sure, that are probably great. There's probably, you're talking about thousands and thousands of Walmarts all across the US. There's probably some Walmarts that are like tucked in between, 3 different retirement communities where 80% of the foot traffic that Walmart store gets is senior or Medicare beneficiaries. And there's heavy foot traffic because they all live so close. There's some probably rare exceptions to this where it's a great opportunity. But the more Walmart's charging, the less those exceptions exist. And the time commitment was originally one of the main reasons why I was so against it.
Mm-hmm.
If you signed up and the foot traffic wasn't there, you just wasted your entire AEP, the most valuable time of the year as a Medicare agent to grow your book of business. You aren't even allowed to leave that Walmart.
You're not allowed to leave.
It's like prison. It's jail. And you guys are fighting over it. You're like, I want to go to jail. No, put me in Walmart jail.
You are my 6-year-old. My 6-year-old put in timeout this morning. We talked about it a little bit off the show. So This morning, about 30 minutes before we started the pod, my 6-year-old daughter goes outside by herself in the front yard, which we do not let her do by herself. She could get hit by a car. She could be kidnapped. We live in a really nice neighborhood, friendly neighborhood. No one thinks their kid's going to get kidnapped till they do,
True.
So we just have those rules. We don't let her go outside by herself she can go in the backyard by herself because there's fences. We can keep her in like an animal. I'm just kidding. Totally joking, by the way. Sarcastic. Anyway, so she goes outside by herself and we didn't even know she was gone. And she went to our neighbor's house, her friend's house, and knocked on the door at 7:30 in the morning. And thankfully they called us and brought her back. Anyway, I put her in timeout because she'd never done that before. I'm like, okay, we gotta take this seriously. You gotta be punished for this. She can't do this. It's dangerous. We can't be worrying about you always sneaking out. So I put her in timeout. She hates timeout. So I hear her through the door in the room she's in, screaming her head off because she's in timeout, crying. I'm in timeout. And she kept saying, I'm in jail. That's you in the booth during AEP. And Dad won't let you out. Not yet. Not till you've paid your price. Not till you've paid your dues, which is the full length of your AEP schedule.
I've gotten, I can't even count at this point. I can't even count how many times I've gotten phone calls from agents inside Walmart or inside CVS or inside a grocery
in the store. They're like, I'm trapped.
They're in the store. They're in the store. I'm not kidding. There's some really well-known agents I could name drop right now that most of you probably know who at one point called me and said, oh shit, Glenn, it's 3 weeks into AEP and I've written one app. What do I do? I'm like, probably shouldn't have done this. Probably shouldn't have done. There's no rule against making phone calls or trying to work leads from inside the store. And I know some of you do that to be more efficient, but doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose at that point if you're doing that? Like, now you're ignoring the foot traffic in front of you.
Right.
Obviously, if there is no foot traffic, that's different. But then again, it circles back to, why are you there?
And
Why
the
are you
secret
in the
shoppers will
store?
check on you for that too, to see if you're
Yeah.
attentive or you're, whatever. But like, if you're going to call leads or you're going to do things like that, couldn't you have done that without the aggravation at home or in your office?
Yes. Yep. Anywhere. In your car. You could have a more successful, I would wager an agent could have a more successful AEP just sitting in their car working leads, selling over the phone, than sitting inside the vast majority of these Walmarts. Yeah, it's crazy. So, when we talk, we, like Christian mentioned before on this episode already, is like, we talked a lot about Walmart. And what I'd like to do with this conversation is also give you guys some ideas on what you could do if you're looking at AAP, which it is, unfortunately, for some of you, because it might stress you out, but we are getting much closer to AAP than I think some of us would like to admit. We're basically 3 months out, 3 months and some change. So if right now you're looking at this AAP and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do? What should I do? I think we could come up with some different ideas on how you can market yourself or market your agency and have a much more successful AEP than if you were sitting inside a Walmart. Now, before we get into solutions, though, is there anything you feel like we missed talking about Walmart? Was there anything in this whole world? And there's some great comments on the stream, guys. We love your comments. If you've worked Walmart, you've had good or bad experiences, I'd love to read them. I really do. I try to read every single comment we get on every single stream. Comment below. It also enters you into Freebie Friday. We do a giveaway every single Friday right here in the group. 4 streams a week typically, so you can enter into Freebie Friday up to 4 times if you comment on every stream. So that being said, Mr. Brindle, anything you feel like we've missed talking about this Walmart elephant debacle?
Yeah, I mean, I think we haven't really talked too much about like what you should be doing instead, because that's always the question people have, right?
Right.
Like, what
Right.
should you be doing instead of the Walmart? Okay, so what we've established, it's not a good idea for multiple reasons.
For
What should you be
98%
doing?
of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
What should you be doing instead? Well, for me, I mean, we've come up with lists in the past. I don't think we have time to do that necessarily, but I'll just throw a couple quick ones out there.
Yeah, just throw some ideas out there. Yeah.
Of course, doing any type of marketing, right? Like or lead purchases, any type of dollar investment you would make into a Walmart store, you could put into leads or running some ads or running a seminar, and you're most likely going to get a lot more people than you will the entire AEP sitting at a booth. So there's that. That's an easy one. But let's say you don't have any money. I mean, if you don't have any money, you're not going to be in a Walmart anyway. But maybe you'll be in like one, another store that doesn't cost anything that a carrier gets you into, right? So what should you do instead of that? I would much rather do Medicare 101s, presentations, seminars at 55 and up communities and other businesses around during AEP than that, in my opinion. I would rather do my grassroots marketing thing than that. Because you're doing your presentations in places that have an age demographic of people that you actually can write. Whereas tons of people that come through Walmart, you're getting all kinds of people. It's a melting pot. Now, granted, you could talk to them about ACA. All right, fair enough. I get it. But like, you want to get Medicare business or ACA business during AEP. And, you know, I think that's a great tactic. There's so many things.
There's so many things. I've seen some agents do events at libraries. You know, you're talking about
we've done
low to no dollar investment, right? Getting your local library to support you and say, hey, I want to do a Medicare 101 for the seniors in the community. I mean, I think that's super powerful. You could get some referral partners. You know, we did a whole episode about referral partners. You know, during AEP, there's so much marketing going on, you guys. There's billions of dollars, at least several hundred. I assume it's billions at this point that is typically being spent during AEP between the health, you know, between the carriers, the call centers, all the agents, the agencies. It's probably north of $1 billion. Would you say it's probably north of $1 billion that's being spent on marketing every AEP?
Yeah. I would say so.
So you can catch a ride off of the wave of everyone else's dollars because so many seniors are already thinking about it and talking about it. A lot of them know what's going on. They know it's AEP and they know they need help. So by just figuring out, you know, places they're going to be, people they're already talking to, and setting up some of those referral partners, those referral channels, that can be an easy layup right there.
Yeah. I relate it to like Christmas time, right? Like little department store, right?
Yes.
Selling Christmas stuff. Oh, how can they hope to compete? It's because there's all this inundation going on around the holiday season about Christmas that everybody's thinking about it. Whether you like it or not, you're thinking about it, right? Like it's on your mind. You feel the Christmas season. AEP is the same way. The seniors and the clients, they feel the AEP season. And it makes them much more willing to have those conversations than they ever would be probably any other time of the year.
Yes. Obviously, if you do have money to spend on marketing, shout out to Lead Heroes Preset Appointments. It's been a super successful program that we've developed over the past few years. We've generated north of 100,000 preset appointments since we started doing that. You could do direct mail. You could do Facebook ads. You could do online webinars. You could make a list of 100 people you know. Do your Dream 100 list. Do anything. Do literally anything, you guys, before doing Walmart. I mean, previously when we talked about this, we've literally come up with like 20 alternatives.
Go to expos.
Go to expos. That's
swap
a great
meets.
One. Yes.
All of those would be better because you could say the same thing about an expo or a swap meet, but they're only like 1 or 2 days. They're not going to eat up your whole AEP. The risk is, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas the risk with a booth or a Walmart is, because it eats up all of your AEP, if not a lot of it.
Yep.
Man, there's so many different things that you can be doing. I would make the argument that doing a booth or doing a Walmart is one of the lowest efficiency types of prospecting you can do.
100%.
And it has probably one of the highest fail rates of any type of lead source. There's just corpses underneath you, right? You're stepping over them and everything. Like thing like that.
Just stepping over dead bodies. Not to mention, like, if we were to graph this trajectory of where Walmart's going, you know, Christian did a little speed run earlier about what the last 10 years of Walmart has looked like. You think they're going to start charging agents less in the future? Or do you think they're going to continue charging more? Most likely continue to take more of your money, right? Whether that's cash up front or they want a bigger chunk of your commissions, which is crazy. There's also a comment here on the stream from Michelle I want to read because it's so valid. And we haven't mentioned this at all. The one thing I will say is if you don't manage your Walmart clients, they will talk and sign up with the next person manning the table next year. Is
Yeah.
that what you want your book of business to think? I
Yeah.
need to go to Walmart and see my agent. No.
Yeah. You do that. That's something I've talked about in
You have.
videos before, where like
Yeah.
if your clients identify you with Walmart, you're synonymous in their mind.
Yes.
If for whatever reason someday at some point you can't do that Walmart store and someone else is there, remember the FMOs control this,
Yep.
right? Let's say you have a
100%.
messy fallout with your FMO and you need to change FMOs, but you can't get your Walmart store moved with you. See this all the time because it's like the FMO is releasing a contract. They can release the store or not release the store. Anything could
100%.
happen. Or something changes, right? Where Walmart decides to only put agents for a certain FMO or a certain carrier or something like that in a store. For whatever reason, you're not in that store, which at any time could happen. You have trained your clients to be synonymous. Medicare agent equals Walmart and vice versa. And so whoever's in that store, it's like they go to the store. They're like, "Where's little Billy? Little Billy's my agent. He's usually here. Where's little Billy?" The new agent's there. He's like, "Oh, well, little Billy, I think he went out of business, but I'm here now." And
I'm little Billy now.
Arg, I'm little Billy.
Little Billy's been a pirate all along. We just didn't know it.
But yeah, like agents like, yeah, I don't know where little Billy is. He might not be doing this anymore. But I'm here now.
Right.
Oh, great. I'll let you shop my plan, Oh, there's a better plan. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to change. Like,
you think they're going to try to go find you versus just working with the person standing in front of them? No.
Yeah.
99% will just work with the agent standing in front of them.
In a way, you're cornering yourself. You're making yourself reliant on the store. To where if you do your marketing and prospecting any other way, you control the narrative in that way. Now, here's the thing. Someone would argue and they'd be like, well, you can send mailers out, you can communicate with them, blah, blah, blah. Sure. But no matter what you do, like, trust us, we can speak to this firsthand. We went through our rebrand this year. We spent, I don't know, $10,000 or more easily marketing our rebrand, submitting client outreach and different things like that. We went up. We spent a ton of money and resources getting the word out about our rebrand. I went on TV. We run ads. We sent mailers. We sent emails.
New merch.
And there are still people that don't know that we rebranded. No matter what you do, not everyone will get the message that you're not at Walmart anymore. It's impossible. And so it's just, even for the longevity of your clientele in your book, on top of that, you just don't want to train them that they're agents in Walmart, and if their agent's gone from Walmart, they're probably needing to find a new agent.
Getting towards the top of the hour, I want to start to shift here into final thoughts, and I'll start with mine, you guys. Again, to kind of go full circle on this situation. I'm sure there'll be some comments on the stream on this episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast. I'm sure you'll see some people comment, well, I've had success in Walmart, or I did back in the day. Yesterday, that post that I saw, there were some comments. There was also a lot of misinformation in that post. Yes, I'm just going to be honest. There were agents saying things on that post where I'm like, I don't think that's true. I don't know if you saw that post or read those comments, but
I did not.
Part of the reason why I felt like it was necessary to discuss this topic today. I would guess for about probably 98% of agents, your local Walmart or grocery store or CVS or whatever is not your best marketing option for AEP. We quickly today on this episode probably went through at least 10 different ways you could market yourself this AEP. Historically, we've done even more than that. There are so many different things you can do that would be better than Walmart or your local grocery store. Again, I'm willing to concede that there is a fraction of a percent today in 2025 where maybe it is a honey hole for you. Like I said, maybe it's like there's like a 3 retirement communities circling a Walmart, and there's all this foot traffic from Medicare beneficiaries, and you can write 200 apps in AAP. I'm sure there's a couple unicorn opportunities out there. That's not the reality, though, for the vast majority of you guys. And again, I feel so strongly about this because I've gotten those phone calls. I can hear the beep of the scanners, you guys. Hey, Glenn, how's it going? Beep. Beep. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is 100% true. Yeah, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling me. Beep. Beep. Yeah, I'm at the grocery store right now. I've only written 2 apps. There's only a couple weeks left of AEP. I'm trying to figure out how I can write more. Beep. Beep. Yeah, we could get you some leads. It might take some time because again, we're slammed, right? Most people who have planned their marketing ahead of time, they already basically pre-booked all of AEP. They paid in September or August. So here you are, way late to the game. By the time you place that marketing order for whatever it is you're buying, whether it's Lead Heroes or something else, you're going to be so late to catch up, and you've lost all this time. So those are my final thoughts, you guys. Think about all the different ways you can market yourself or market your agency. And if you genuinely feel like you have an incredible opportunity, go for it. But again, I stand by that. Probably 98% of you are better off doing something else.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mr.
I would agree. I'd reiterate everything that was said on that. Yeah, guys, for me, my final thoughts are you could make the argument 10, maybe 15 years ago that it was a decent lead source. If it didn't cost you anything, the only thing you're risking is your time, which was still a big problem. But the combination of it just being ineffective, inefficient marketing, you can't target anybody in particular. You're just kind of basing it on chance of the right person walking by your booth, right? That's no way to prospect. That's no way to market. Combined with the fact that it costs a lot of money, the profit share, everything like that, the whole thing is ridiculous. And there's
We lost Christian. I'm sure he'll be back here momentarily to share his final thoughts. You guys, again, all of these different Walmart opportunities out there, you're most likely better off doing something different. So I think there's what I'll do after this too is I'll share a link to the YouTube video. We did a 2-part YouTube video discussing this topic. I want to say we went 90 minutes talking about Walmart. So if you want to hear more specifically about this topic, I will make sure to drop that link in the comments on the stream in the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. Again, great video. We went 90 minutes talking about Walmart. I think it was a 2-part episode, 2-part video series we did. And just think about all the other ways that you can really market yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast. If you are listening to this on a different platform, oh, here he comes. Mr. Brindle's back. The Utah internet going real slow today. If you are listening,
I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
There, I can. Can you hear me?
My apologies. My computer crashed. Yes, I can hear you. My computer crashed.
Okay. Go ahead. I was just kind of wrapping up. I was trying to copy your usual spiel there at the end.
Yes. Guys, appreciate you watching all the way to the end. And definitely, right, like, to kind of wrap up my final thoughts, there's better ways to do it. It's expensive. It's not efficient, et cetera, et cetera. You guys get the picture. Appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on any platform you might be taking this content in on, whether it be live or on the recording. We certainly appreciate your support. And we'll make sure to be back with you guys soon with another episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast. Here's to your massive success, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.